highly desirable private residence in an area of outstanding natural property.
Dame Patricia Routledge, the beloved actress known worldwide for her impeccable comedic timing and unforgettable role as Hyacinth Bucket in Keeping Up Appearances, passed away recently, leaving fans around the globe in shock and mourning. For decades, Patricia charmed audiences with her brilliance on stage and screen, balancing humor with depth and delivering performances that were as sharp as they were heartfelt. Yet behind the laughter and accolades, rumors had long circulated about her private life, whispers that fans, tabloids, and insiders speculated about for years, but which remained unconfirmed. Now, following her death, Patricia's family has begun to speak openly, confirming details that were previously only hinted at. Their revelations are drawing both admiration and surprise, offering a rare glimpse into the personal life of a woman who was often perceived as untouchable, untamed by celebrity gossip. From private struggles to extraordinary acts of kindness, these confirmations shed new light on the complexities and humanity of a woman who lived in the public eye but kept her most intimate experiences closely guarded. This isn't just a story about celebrity or speculation. It's a story about truth finally emerging, about a family honoring her memory by revealing aspects of her life that deepen our understanding of who she truly was. Fans are now seeing a fuller picture, one that balances the laughter, the legacy, and the very real human experiences behind the legendary actress. For decades, Dame Patricia Routledge carefully maintained a boundary between her public persona and her private life. To audiences around the world, she was the indomitable Hyacinth Bucket, impeccably spoken, endlessly ambitious, and unforgettable. Yet away from the cameras and the laughter, Patricia was a deeply private woman who resisted celebrity culture and rarely addressed speculation about her personal world. That silence, however, is exactly what allowed rumors to grow over the years, evolving into assumptions that many fans came to accept as truth without confirmation. In recent years, waves of online speculation and misleading reports sparked renewed discussion about Patricia's life, legacy, and supposed hidden truths. These claims ranged from her health and personal relationships to long-standing assumptions about her lifestyle choices and the reasons she avoided the spotlight later in life. While Patricia herself chose not to publicly engage with such rumors, members of her family have since felt compelled to clarify what was true, what was misunderstood, and what was simply never anyone else's business to begin with. According to those close to her, Patricia's decision to live quietly was intentional, not mysterious. She valued discipline, routine, and independence, preferring the structure of theater, music, and literature over the chaos of celebrity attention. Her family confirms that she never felt the need to correct public assumptions, believing that her work spoke for itself. To her, fame was a byproduct of excellence, not something to be fed or negotiated with. This mindset often made her appear distant or enigmatic when in reality, she was simply protecting her peace. One of the most persistent rumors centered on Patricia's personal relationships and why she never married or had children. Her family has addressed this directly, explaining that Patricia was never driven by conventional expectations. She was devoted to her craft, her close friendships, and her independence. This was not the result of heartbreak or hidden tragedy as some speculated, but a conscious life choice made with clarity and confidence. She found fulfillment in performance, music, travel, and quiet companionship, and she never felt incomplete without fitting into traditional molds. Another widely circulated assumption involved her supposed reclusiveness later in life. Family members confirm that while Patricia did step away from public appearances, she remained mentally sharp, creatively engaged, and socially connected within a small trusted circle. She continued to read extensively, listen to music, and maintain strong bonds with loved ones. Her retreat from the spotlight was not due to bitterness or decline, but rather a belief that every career has a natural rhythm and knowing when to step back as part of dignity. What becomes clear through these confirmations is that much of what fans believed was shaped more by silence than by truth. Patricia Routledge was not hiding a scandal, nor was she defined by secret struggles. She was a woman who understood boundaries long before they became fashionable, and who believed that a life well lived did not require constant explanation. Her family's decision to address the rumors now is not about correcting the public, but about honoring her values with honesty and respect. In understanding these truths, fans are beginning to see Dame Patricia Routledge not as a mystery to be solved, but as a person who lived exactly as she chose, with intention, grace, and an unwavering sense of self. As public discussion intensified, several long-standing rumors about Dame Patricia Routledge resurfaced. Many of them repeated so often that they took on a life of their own. According to her family, this repetition, not reality, is what turned quiet personal choices into supposed secrets. With time and distance, they have now clarified what truly lay behind the most talked-about claims, separating assumption from fact and restoring context that was long missing. One persistent rumor suggested that Patricia distanced herself from the entertainment industry due to conflict, disappointment, or bitterness toward television fame. Her family firmly rejects this narrative. They explain that Patricia was deeply proud of her work, especially the joy it brought to audiences, but she never allowed one role to define her identity. While keeping up appearances brought global recognition, she always considered herself first and foremost a stage performer and musician. Stepping back from frequent television appearances was not an act of rejection, but a natural return to the quieter, more structured creative life she preferred. Another widely discussed assumption involved her health. Over the years, fans speculated that her reduced public presence signaled serious illness. Family members confirmed that while Patricia, like anyone later in life, faced normal physical limitations, there was no hidden crisis driving her withdrawal. She remained mentally sharp, independent, and deeply engaged with the world around her. The absence of constant updates allowed concern to turn into speculation, but in reality, Patricia simply believed that aging did not require public documentation. Perhaps the most sensitive rumors revolved around her emotional life. Because Patricia never married and rarely spoke about romance, many assumed loneliness or regret. Her family clarifies that this interpretation couldn't be further from the truth. Patricia valued deep friendships and meaningful companionship, and she experienced love in ways that did not conform to public expectations. She was content with a small, trusted circle and found emotional fulfillment through connection, creativity, and autonomy. For her, privacy was not emptiness, it was freedom. There were also whispers that Patricia was difficult or aloof behind the scenes. Those closest to her describe a very different person, disciplined, direct, and deeply respectful of her craft. She expected professionalism because she gave it herself. While she wasn't drawn to small talk or celebrity culture, she was generous with encouragement, especially toward younger performers who showed commitment. Her reserve was often mistaken for coldness. When it was simply focus and self-control, what her family emphasizes most is that Patricia never felt obligated to correct misconceptions. She believed rumors only gained power when acknowledged. Silence to her was not avoidance. It was dignity. She trusted that time would eventually reveal what mattered and that her legacy would be defined by her work, not speculation. That philosophy guided her throughout her life, even as public curiosity grew louder. By addressing these rumors now, her family isn't rewriting history. They are restoring balance. They want fans to understand that Dame Patricia Routledge lived exactly as she wished, on her own terms, without apology and without the need for constant validation. The truths being confirmed are not scandalous or dramatic, but quietly powerful. They reveal a woman who understood herself deeply and refused to let the noise of the outside world dictate her narrative. And as fans absorb these clarifications, many are realizing that the rumors were never the real story. The real story was a life lived with intention, restraint, and remarkable self-awareness, qualities that defined Patricia Routledge just as much as her unforgettable performances ever did. As Dame Patricia Routledge's family continues to reflect on her life, they have begun sharing personal memories that reveal a side of her the public rarely saw. Away from scripts, costumes, and applause, Patricia was thoughtful, disciplined, and quietly generous. She was not someone who expressed affection loudly or publicly, but those closest to her describe a woman whose care ran deep and whose loyalty never wavered. In private, she was attentive, observant, and deeply invested in the well-being of the people she loved. Family members recall that Patricia had a strong sense of responsibility. toward others, especially those she felt needed guidance or encouragement. Younger performers, musicians, and even acquaintances often found themselves the recipients of handwritten notes, thoughtful advice, or quiet support offered without expectation of recognition. She disliked grand gestures and believed kindness should be sincere, not performative. Many of these acts were never spoken about during her lifetime, simply because Patricia never saw them as noteworthy. To her, doing the right thing was not something to be announced. It was something to be done. One particularly meaningful aspect of Patricia's character was her devotion to structure and routine. She believed discipline created freedom, and this philosophy shaped both her professional and personal life. She kept regular habits, valued punctuality, and treated her commitments with seriousness and respect. Her family says this sense of order was not rigid but grounding. It gave her peace and allowed her to focus fully on what mattered most: music, literature, meaningful conversation, and time spent with those she trusted. This quiet lifestyle often contrasted sharply with the exaggerated personality audiences adored on screen, making her performances all the more remarkable. Patricia was also deeply reflective. She read constantly, listened to classical music with great passion, and maintained a lifelong curiosity about the world. Conversations with her were often thoughtful rather than casual, and she preferred depth over volume. Her family notes that she had little patience for superficiality, not out of arrogance, but because she believed time was precious. This outlook shaped her social circle, which remained small but deeply connected. Those within it felt seen, valued, and respected. In the years leading up to her passing, Patricia remained mentally engaged and emotionally present. She followed world events, kept in touch with loved ones, and reflected often on the importance of gratitude and perspective. She spoke candidly with family about aging, not with fear but with acceptance. She believed that every phase of life had meaning, and that dignity came from knowing when to step forward and when to step back. This mindset helped her face later years with calm and clarity, free from bitterness or regret. What her family hopes fans understand most is that Patricia Routledge's legacy extends far beyond comedy or fame. She lived with intention, self-awareness, and quiet strength. Her choices were not shaped by expectation, pressure, or public demand, but by an inner compass she trusted completely. The rumors that once surrounded her now feel small in comparison to the truth of who she was: a woman of depth, discipline, kindness, and unwavering authenticity. As these personal memories come to light, a fuller picture emerges. Dame Patricia Routledge was not a mystery to be unraveled, but a life to be respected. And in sharing these reflections now, her family is not seeking attention or sympathy. They are simply honoring a woman who lived exactly as she believed one should, with grace, purpose, and quiet integrity. As fans around the world come to terms with Dame Patricia Routledge's passing, the confirmations from her family have brought a sense of clarity and peace to a story long clouded by speculation. Rather than shocking revelations, what has emerged is something far more meaningful: an honest portrait of a woman who lived deliberately, loved quietly, and refused to let public curiosity dictate her identity. For many admirers, this truth has only deepened their respect for her. In the days following these confirmations, fans have revisited Patricia's work with renewed appreciation. Scenes once viewed purely for comedy are now understood through a richer lens, recognizing the discipline, intelligence, and restraint behind every performance. Her portrayal of Hyacinth Bucket, so exaggerated and precise, now feels even more extraordinary knowing how profoundly different Patricia was in real life. It stands as proof of her remarkable talent, the ability to disappear entirely into a character while keeping her true self carefully protected. Her family says Patricia was never concerned with how she would be remembered in headlines. Legacy to her was built quietly through consistency, integrity, and dedication to one's craft. She believed that if the work was honest, it would endure, and history has proven her right. Generations continue to discover her performances, laugh at her timing, and admire the intelligence she brought to every role. That enduring connection with audiences is something she valued deeply. Even if she rarely spoke about it, what resonates most now is the realization that many of the rumors surrounding Patricia were born not from scandal, but from misunderstanding. Silence was mistaken for secrecy. Privacy was misread as distance. Independence was interpreted as isolation. Her family's decision to finally address these misconceptions was never about defending her. She never felt the need for that, but about restoring truth and honoring her values. In doing so, they have allowed her story to come full circle. Grounded not in whispers, but in reality, Patricia's life serves as a quiet reminder that not every meaningful existence needs to be explained or justified. She showed that fulfillment can be found outside traditional expectations, that dignity can exist without constant visibility, and that strength often speaks softly. In an era driven by exposure and oversharing, her approach now feels not distant, but deeply principled. Closes. Dame Patricia Routledge is being remembered not only as a legendary performer, but as a woman of unwavering self-knowledge. The truth confirmed by her family doesn't diminish the mystery, it elevates the humanity behind it. Fans are left not with disappointment, but with admiration for someone who lived fully on her own terms, asked for little, gave much, and left behind a legacy defined by excellence rather than noise. In the end, the rumors no longer matter. What remains is a life marked by purpose, restraint, and grace, and a legacy that will continue to bring laughter, comfort, and inspiration long after the speculation has faded.